Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. Oh my God, the month of July for you. You're breaking free of straitjackets you did not even realize were constraining you in your life. If it's your Gemini sun, your career straitjackets. If you're Gemini moon, home straitjackets, like where I live and my domicile. Gemini rising, anything that has held you back, anything that has felt like a constriction. And sometimes we don't know what is constricting us until we break free and break through of it. So there's a big energy for Geminis coming into your sky this month. It has to do with Uranus and your sign, where you're going to feel something new, something different, and something radically changing. Mercury, the Lord of your sign, the planet that rules you, is also spending 2 whole months in the sign of Leo, last seen in that kind of long stay in 2017 and 18. And he's going to meet with the sun and radically revise something for you to do with your home, your childhood, your homeland, your property where you live. And it's going to be important to know that this is also very benefic, because Mercury will only do something for you in the month of July in this conjunction with the sun from retrogradation that's extremely good for you. So it's a lovely energy for breaking free and breaking through. We're going to break it down. We're going to look at the chronology of the month. There's a lot of other stories going on in your chart that I will cover as we go through the sky together. So, welcome if you're new here. My name is Lori Lothy, and I am a Western Tropical Zodiac astrologer. We're talking a lot about the sky to time your best life in this general reading, but you can also time your best year by checking out my 2025 All Signs Bundles and Individual Sign Forecasts for sale at half price, 2 hours each for your sign in chronological order. We still have half a year left, so you may as well grab that content now. Also, you might be interested perhaps in taking my Sky Reader course in September. It was scheduled for July, but due to moving and writing projects, I'm moving home. I am going to delay it till September, October, for 6 weeks live with me in class, learning the basics of astrology in Hellenistic and ancient tools to time your life that are simple and easy to learn. So come on board, learn with me. In the description box below is all the information you need to sign up, get the early bird discount waitlist, sign up. It's not open for enrollment yet, but also this description of the course. Okay, let's get rolling. Let's talk about your story. It's a big deal that Uranus is ingressing for the first time in 80 odd years into the sign of Gemini during the month of July. In fact, on July the 7th through until November 7th, then he retrogrades out. So you'll start to feel the energy right away. Something about you and moving through July 7th and the rest of the month of July will feel enervating, different, exciting, exhilarating, breaking free, breaking through, breaking out of straight jackets, molds that have contained you, and ways of being that don't serve you. And so here you are. I put the ascendant in Gemini here. We're going to go through the sky together chronologically, but this is also good for the sun. Your Gemini sun here would be acting as if your sun was in the first house. So that means we define career and purpose matters most directly from the perspective of the sun, as if it's a Gemini first house sun. The moon, the same thing, things to do with your home and home life, for example. So I have a progressed Gemini sun, and I recognize that this will impact my career, as this happens to be a part of what the Gemini suns will encounter during this month. Now, one of the things about the sky, we'll start off in chronological order, is you'll notice at the end of the month that Lord Venus, the goddess of a lot of good things, benefic, positive, is in the sign of Taurus, moving towards Uranus. And they're going to come together, and it's very powerful and unexpected, surprising energy connected to with wealth and prosperity. And it may connect you to more directly matters to do with earnings from your job or your career, or your income from your career path. That's because Saturn, stable, Saturn, stable, enduring, and reliable and realistic, money gains and reputation gains in one's career, connected to Neptune, which can be, by the way, things to do with the online world, like especially videography platforms, but also dreams and visions for your life, are going to receive some love from a shocking, surprising Venus-Uranus combination. It is pretty close to the decapitation, but also wealth star, Algol, and trining this Pluto. So, but we're going to get more that she's not there yet. She will be trining Pluto. So, but in the very beginning of the month, you'll notice as these two come together. So what I talked about here and here, that's coming up right after she conjunct Uranus. So there's going to be a kind of profound depth charge under the surface of your life. Like it can often be a dream at night, a reverie, meditation, reflections, shamanic journey, breakthrough, insight, because this is the house of dreaming. This is a house of like can be involved sleeping. This is a house of things to do in quiet solitude and some kind of kaboom of a breakthrough. Sometimes we make money there, and Jupiter is in your earnings house, of course, through a whole year. You're going to be very prosperous over the next 12 months, most of you. And with this energy, you might have a breakthrough in addiction and substance recovery, abuse breakthroughs, changing a breakthrough in understanding or a new way of seeing a way to make money and be more prosperous in your life, or a breakthrough in a situation connected to someone in your life who may be in a hospital or a hospital setting, and some breakthroughs and exciting and positive developments because of Jupiter sextiling that conjunction in a whole sign way. So there's this kind of interiority, though, to me, something inside of you is getting clear, something depth charge like under the surface of your Akashic records, your past lives, your family of origin, and your ancestral line stuff is going to have a shift in a very positive, powerful way, especially the ancestral, as July 1st shows us South Node Moon conjunction as this is building up, indicating the roots, especially from your mother's line and your mother's stories, getting ready to declare freedom from the mother story, the ancestral story, and the patterns that held you back in life from your childhood. We move forward out of the spiritual, psycho-spiritual into the real when Venus then crosses the sign boundary, as she will, and she moves into the sign of Gemini. Now, Venus will be in your sign, and you are going to be more fortunate, more lucky, more charismatic, persuasive, more beautiful or handsome than you normally are. And this is going to be following you. Like if it's your, and by the way, she's here. Venus is in the Gemini story all the way until July 30th. So you've got a lot of, I look good, people like me, I'm attractive, I'm lucky, I know what I desire, I feel good about my desires, I love myself. Now, because she's moved into the house of your identity, for you rising sign Gemini, she can bless your career, your marriage, your love partners, your children. She can bless everyone in your life from the vantage point of the first house and every situation in your life, including your money. But also, if it's your Gemini sun, she's really focused on your career and blessing that career, and your moon blessing your home life. So she will be in charge of that story, those stories in the Gemini sky for the most of the month of July. And as she moves through your first house and is now in charge of the narrative of your sign, what she's going to do is trine Pluto. And this is going to be July the 5th to about the 9th even. You're going to feel a beautiful Plutonian Venusian vibe while also sextiling Saturn. In essence, the story can look like this little blue triangle of goodness. Okay. This is wonderful, especially with Mercury in the writing house for book publishing deals, agents in the book publishing world, book proposals, success in publications, power and transformation in your spiritual and religious and philosophy and beliefs, finding a connection to a deeper meaning and purpose in your life, and also finding solid, lasting, and doable and realistic ways to gain earnings in your career that take time but will go the distance. If you work with Neptune, or you're an actor, a singer, a performer, a screenplay writer, or you work in a digital ink, on platforms with social media that have glamour, like Instagram photos all the time, or, look at my beautiful life, or, YouTube videos and stuff, that's Neptune. This is a solid new shift of direction, a shift of possibilities here. And some of it will surprise you, as on July 7th, Uranus joins Venus as well. Kaboom. This is where real straitjacket breakthrough is occurring. That's what I alluded to in the beginning. I am free, oh so damn free. I am lucky. I am successful. I can't believe what's happening. It's so exciting for me. It connects to powerful transformation. It connects to a shift in your long-range goals and dreams. Pennies from heaven and windfalls are not Saturn's game, but he's up there in that house of windfalls, pennies from heaven. Neptune, maybe even visualizing, dreaming a lottery win. I don't know. But Venus does rule the house of winning the lottery, your fifth house of speculative gains and gambling. So somehow, some way, it feels like something is going to break free early in July. You'll feel this energy of the Uranus activation as well by July the 7th and 8th. And I don't know what to say. It looks like, as I said, something that held you back like an invisible straitjacket is now being cast off, and you have a kind of freedom that you haven't had before in your sun, career, moon, home life, or ascendant, any part of your life that was stalled, stuck, or constrained. Well, what else is in the sky? What else is afoot in our sky, guys? As we move forward in the month and we use the chronological order of the sky to give us guidance, you'll notice that the following themes begin to emerge as we progress into a July 10th. Now, I would say July 10th, because we have a full moon in Capricorn in your 8th house of chunky money, is a positive time for a kind of windfall, like, the apples coming down off the tree, a harvesting of some sort of financial gain. Jupiter in the exalted in your 2nd house brings up the possibility of taking possession of a chunk of money that's quite a significant amount for some of you, not all of you. This is general astrology. And it's a fulfillment of a seed or a dream you planted back in December, actually on December 30th, when we had a new moon in the 8th house. Now, the 8th house has many other meanings. It's the other people's money you share, you're a shareholder in a company, it's Google ad revenue, book royalty income, you share it with those companies, and there is a fulfillment and a big bright light in that part of your sky, which could indicate success. This moon is going to happen at 18 degrees of Capricorn, and it's going to sextile the North Node in your career house, indicating this is most likely to be a career-related money matter, but we shall see. It could come through many other ways as well. Jupiter says, hey, I see what's going on over there. And he talks to the moon across the way, generally speaking, and says, let's make it larger than life. Let's make it exalted. Let's make it a big, big breakthrough financially. At the very same time, though, you'll notice that Mars is traveling down in your 4th house. And this is an important story, so I just want you to listen in, especially for you rising signs. Mars is in your Virgo sky for quite a bit of time, actually, June 26th to September 2nd. And sometimes it means changing your home, moving your home. This is especially true for the rising sign. And South Node is letting go and releasing and surrendering. The other one would be to travel abroad and to go off and far off at distant shores, adventures, and be spending much time away from the home. But sometimes also you're going to have a breakaway, a cutting away from someone who lives with you in the home. So be aware of that. We're going to bring it into more detail shortly. And I only brought that up because it is that North Node that can receive that abundance from the 8th house relative to career. Okay, relative to that journey. But also we recognize that there's something you need to let go of at the bottom of your sky in the midnight hour, which can be also very much, again, about cutting those ancestral patterns. Snip, snip. I don't need to be like my ne'er-do-well dad or my alcoholic mom or whatever you were learning as a child. And there could be a real fracture in a good way of those patterns so that you can now prosper in a new way in your life. Sometimes a full moon in the 8th house is retirement. Some people will leave their work and job and career path behind, get ready to start something new. If you were planting seeds of sort of like ending something in the career workspace or the job space back in December, now you'll see the fulfillment of that desire and that direction as well. So July the 11th, the Saturn sextile Pluto becomes more exact and continues to the very end of the month. And Saturn will be retrograding in Aries as well in the middle of the month, around the 12th. But on July the 11th, Saturn sextile Pluto, as he turns retrograde, is kind of like, for the world, it's one thing. For you, it's like, where do you define meaning and purpose in your life relative towards fame, celebrity, career gain, social influence, money from the career gains of your career? Or, how can you see realistic long game strategies for accomplishing those perks in this life, while at the same time aligning in a transformational, powerful way with your spiritual beliefs, your philosophy of life, your dharmic path in life? For those of you who are auspiciously endeavoring to create writing projects and books, that's also a story that becomes very active for you mid-July, as Pluto says wealth and prosperity and powerful people in the publications industry, Athena authorship favoring you, as Mercury is riding up a storm and negotiating, brokering, and dealing in the 3rd house. You may sell a written project. You may get some financial success regarding writing and publications. You may get a book deal. You may get an agent. These are stories that go on for you really actively mid-July. Mercury will be in your 3rd house, marketing, selling, learning, teaching, traveling, and he's going to be there a long time. And that's because, well, it's just because he is. He'll be there from June 26th to September 2nd. Now, when he's down here in your third house, he will be doing a retrograde and all of that. That's not the most important part of it. Go back to 2017, 18 and ask yourself about writing, marketing, selling, websites, traveling, and what you were up to then, because this is Mercury redoing a very long stay in the sign of Leo. Again, June 26th to September 2nd is extremely long. And it prolongs the idea of consistent effort in writing projects, trining Saturn. If you want to write something or build a new website or create a new course that you want to teach, or you want to be diligent and studious and learn with like sustained effort, especially professional learning, then use that energy June 26th to September 2nd. It's going to support you in that regard. But again, writing, publishing, authorship energies across the 3-9 axis are very profound for some of you. And even just publishing at Substack, where you publish the written word, is going to bring success. Now, one thing about this story, right? One thing about this story is that if you are somebody who has a sibling, one younger than you, Mercury's in the house of that sibling, and your sibling, especially in a broad sextile to Venus, is having some very positive developments in their life as well. So the sibling, one younger than you, is also experiencing some success or prosperity or positive developments as well in sustainable, lasting, and enduring ways. Now, moving into the next timeline, on the 21st to the 24th or so of July, we have a difficult sky. It's not the end of the world sky difficult. It's just Mars is going to come into a square to Venus. And when these two planets do this, it's like things to do with love and money can be turbulent, and there may be fractures or breakages in those narratives. Sometimes it just means it's time to change direction or change momentum in the matters of love and money. Now, on July the 20th, and creative and artistic projects and beauty. On July the 21st, Venus begins to form the square. Let's take a look at it together. Venus is at 14 degrees here on July 17th. Mars is at 17 degrees. She's building up as early as the 17th of July to square Mars on the south node. And it gets pretty darn exact here. Let's move us back to your sign. And you'll notice that this is where, how did I go to August? I apologize. I don't have any idea why it took me to August, because I thought I had it set for something else, but okay, I'm all right with this. This is me breathing through the chart turning of the wheel. Okay, back to the story. So let's go back to what I was pointing at, which is days. Let's go to Venus as she gets into that square. Here we go. Venus is at 11. And we're going to keep moving her forward. And by the time we get to July 19th, 16 degrees Venus, 18 degree Mars on the south node, you're engaged. July the 19th through to about the 25th, there's a square between the cosmic lovers while it is south node. Let go, surrender, release, cut, end, and sever. Something to do with home, property, land, real estate. Interestingly, Mars is also sextiling Juno, the goddess of contracts and agreements, in the house of rental properties and debts. So maybe, or work. So you might be able to break away from a debt rental property, a work situation, an employment situation, let go, surrender, release. But because Venus is creating the square from your sign, she's blessing you, Gemini, and you're going to be okay. You have a very strong benefic in your court, and she would like you to take that breakage and use it for your best good. So again, fracturing a lease, moving out of your home, breaking away from a relationship or situation with someone you live with. There's something going on here, change is afoot. And you could have an argument or a blowout of some sort regarding your values and your perspective on love or money vis-a-vis somebody in the home itself. Could be a child, a husband, a wife, a roommate. And there's this kind of energy going on in the sky. Because it's connected to the nodal axis, as you can see, North Node in the 10th house, Mars in the 4th. This is indicated it's very fated. I can't wait to do that week ahead astrology. I'll call it like fated blow up between Mars and Venus. Its destiny is in the middle of it. And it does favor success in your career and financial success because of the Jupiter connection to the North Node from the earnings house. So this favors you in career and money, but in the interpersonal level, can feel really gnarly. You could be going through a breakup even, or you could be ending something to do with a situation in your home and private life. It may feel really challenging to do that. Venus rules the house of lovers and children. So breakups with lovers, breakups with children, disagreements with those people, kicking the kid out of the nest, asking the lover to move on out. Those are stories that may occur for some of you. Again, July 19th to the 24th. All right. Now, it could just be separation because of natural reasons. Somebody's moving, but it can also be emotionally fraught tension as well. All right. Now, we move towards the sun ingressing into the sign of Leo on July the 22nd. And as the sun begins to cross the border here, and watch it happen, this is like July 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, kind of time zone dependent. We'll see that the sun is no longer moving through her sign of Cancer. That sign of Cancer has entered into your third house. And as soon as that entry happens, the sun begins to hook up with Uranus, shock and surprise, and Neptune and Saturn. Let's code that little miniature triangle, which is positive. Okay, shocking, surprising, positive breakthroughs regarding writing, communicating, marketing, selling, learning and travel, skills-based study, skills-based teaching. July the 23rd, 22nd, add about 4 days. I think you're going to be feeling this all the way through to the 26th, really. And because you have visions, goals, and dreams that you want to stabilize and make real in your earnings and gains from your career or your long range plans for your career and life, this is going to favor success there, but with a feeling of breaking free and breaking through, or electric currents of originality, invention, and new ideas that can be extremely fortunate for those of you who are writers, who are teachers, who want to travel, who want to be a digital nomad even, or even just something to do with your marketing and selling prowess. And this is the online world where Sun and Mercury are, the virtual neighborhood as well. And these are exciting times for you because this is an energy that is first in a lifetime. You are going to be Uranianized. Unless you've been born, unless you're over the age of 80, this is a first in a lifetime. So your originality, your inventiveness are on superpowers right now. Okay, superpowers. And the sun is telling Mercury what to do. The sun is in its home kingdom. Mercury, write the book, write the proposal, set up the website, launch that course. Whatever you're doing is going to go very well in this regard. On July the 24th, you're going to notice that we have a lunation at 2 degrees of Leo. The moon will be with the sun, July 24th, 25th, time zone dependent. It will be occurring on the actual 2nd degree of Leo. It will be flowing to Lord Saturn, which is positive. So it's a very stabilizing moon, yet it still invites in some surprises from Uranus. So it's like long game and reinvention, breaking free and breaking through in order to create stable and importantly, visionary gains in your career in alignment with your long range goals and dreams, especially those of you who are at Neptune fields, which I described earlier. But Uranus is also that freedom element. You're feeling free and it's flowing together in a beautiful way. And this moon is not just about the date of July 24th, 25th. That's not what it's about. It's about the things that unfold in the 3 or 4 months, 3 or 4 weeks after, that then become evident even more so in the 6 months that unfold from that. So look at this fresh new start, new beginning to do with writing, communicating, marketing and teaching, selling, short distance travel, skills-based teaching and learning. This is going to revolutionize, it's going to revolutionize as Uranus, your identity or your career or your sense of home, in connection as well to your career gains. I can't tell you what it is. Uranus always brings a surprise, and he is hooked up to this lunation. But I feel really good about it based on this chart. So I'm expecting it to look good on you and look good on me. You'll notice that the new moon will also be opposite Pluto, of course, and that can bring a transformative energy to this whole story. It could transform you in book publishing. We got author up here, Athena. That's an asteroid. It could transform you in. You might want to travel the world. You might want to go on pilgrimages. You might want to, study intensely a subject matter that you know is important for you in this life at this time. It's got the Lord of Time and Karma involved in the education. Should you go back to school, so to speak, or go to school for the first time? Anyway, all said and done, you not lived through this kind of radical breakthrough energy in your Gemini sky before. So it's going to be very different than anything you've ever felt. And you'll have to tell me more in the comments how it went down for you. Now, moving into the next story. And don't forget, you got lucky Jupiter trining your career house in your house of earnings for another year, basically, with the North Node, last seen in the 1800s. This is the first time in your life you can be this prosperous and this successful in career matters, especially Gemini Sun, but also rising. All right. Now, I want to remind you that Mars is going to be in your fourth house till August the 6th. So June 17th to August the 6th. It's a long stay. So a lot of stuff. If you're not moving, changing home, or someone's leaving your home, then you're doing hammering, nailing, construction, renovating, and pounding walls in your home, installing things in your home, repairing things in your home, which is what I'll probably do in my new unit because I'm a Gemini Sun. It kind of what works for me. Progress Sun. Okay. But think about it that way. Now, the last thing is the most important. I think this is one of the most important stories of our entire July. It's this profoundly powerful Mercury in the heart of the sun. We call that a kazimi. He will be retrograding into the heart of the sun at 9 degrees of Leo on July the 31st in your second house. Well, at the same time, Venus begins her 3-week stay in your first house. That's an August story, but know that July 31st through to about 3 weeks into August, you are extremely lucky. You are Jupiter, Venus together. Oh, sorry. Apologies. You're still extremely lucky, but it went back to it went over to the next sign. You have Venus and Jupiter together in your second house, which is fortunate finances. And so all of August looks like fortunate finances for you. That's a alliteration, isn't it? Rhyming. Anyway, fortunate finances for you in August, beyond the beyond. I can't wait to do that video. Stay tuned, subscribe so you can get the deep dive into that for August. But at the same time, on the 31st, at 9 degrees exactly of Leo in your third house, there is a divine headquarters download from Mercury. Use that day to send an email, make that phone call, market or launch a product or something you want to sell, sign a contract. Look for user information coming from neighbors, siblings, travel opportunities out of the blue, book publishing deals and contracts available. This is nice energy for all of those things. And it lands on your doorstep in a way that it could have done something similar, not at 9 degrees, in 2017, 18, around the same time of year, July, August. And here it is again. Now, this Mercury Sun kazimi or conjunction, he's retrograde. He's very synchronistic, very magical. Mercury is here till September 2nd. Remember, long stay, June 26th to September 2. It's unusual. So get those writing projects, teaching projects, all those things done and worked out, build that website, whatever. But this kazimi is luscious. And one thing I love about the kazimi as well, because I can't see the downside, honestly, is it does end up activating Juno and a little bit of the Vestal flame. So it will impact your work life in a significant, but, insightful and divine download way. New business partnerships, new employees, new employer situations can emerge from this as well. And at 9 degrees, it's really kind of doing its own thing, but Jupiter is in a semi-sextile. So it could kind of look like the new beginnings seated here are subtly increasing your financial well-being in ways that are not immediately apparent, but will at some point be obvious to you, probably in 2026, when Jupiter moves into the spot where the kazimi happened. It could translate as well to financial lusciousness in your life. Well, that's what I've got for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please hit my bell for notifications. You don't want to miss a thing. And check out everything about me, my Substack community, where I tell the truth about what's really going on in the world. I don't care about being demonetized. Check out the Pluto Chronicles for that kind of Lori, unplugged writing, mostly writing. And check out as well, if you don't mind, my Patreon community. I teach 4 different things a month. I have 4 different small group webinars, depends on your tier. We do Horary together. We do a lot of stuff. And we teach classes. I teach classes over there that are not available to the public as well. You get discounts on my public classes as well. Not the big classes, the 2-hour webinars or teachings. All right. That's 3 back-to-back videos recorded on June 17th for my Patreon community. I think it's going to take a little bit of a break and come back to the next 3 signs in another hour. You won't even know that I'm gone. See you guys. Mwah. Welcome to July 2025.